This week we're talking about all things happening with the Sunsong Ranch in 5.2, so get ready. We're having us a hoedown on Twizzcast. Welcome to episode 2 of the Twizzcast VideoCast, everyone. I'm your host, Twizz. With me, as always, for the VideoCast is my co-host, Hippy. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Just back from a trip to sunny Seattle.
Oh, it's good to have you back, man. Good to be back on the airwaves, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, this week we have a whole bunch of information coming at you as far as the Sunsong Ranch and what you can expect in 5.2, the stuff that's going on there. So, Hippy, why don't you hit us with an overview? What's going on, man?
All right. So in 5.2, what they're going to do is there's going to be a few changes coming up to your ranch and your Farmville, and basically with your relationship with the Tillers and with other factions, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So the first thing you can do, it'll be a place to call your own if you choose. Starting in 5.2, you're able to purchase your own farm. You purchase your farm from Farmer Yoon. So pay the panda some money, get yourself a nice little farm. Doing this will also give you a personal inn where you can bind your Hearthstone and a mailbox.
Okay. Have you seen a price tag for any of this or anything like that?
I've not yet been able to find a price tag. So Yoon's, he's probably trying to drive up the market right now.
It's true. Oh boy. You know what? The biggest thing that's going on with this is some quality of life additions. And I'm ecstatic that Blizzard is putting these kinds of things in the game, just because there's nothing. It's a grind that you have to do every time you log in, and you want to take care of this stuff. But it's like there's little bumps in the road that just make it a pain in the hind end. And it sounds like they're alleviating some of those things. Some of the quality of life additions that they're doing is the Master Plow will now be able to run across occupied soil and help you deal with the pesky vermin. And it basically brings them out at 30% and it stuns them, which that's nice. You know what I mean?
Die vermin.
That's right. Just to sit there and wear them down for,
Oh, dude.
Okay.
I swear I harvested the other day and I had like 6 occupied soils out of my 16, and I was angry.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, 1 or 2, I understand, but when you're getting, like 6, like you said, it's just come on, help me get out of here. So, they're also going to have seed bags. They're being implemented to make planting faster. Quality of life issue, yeah, absolutely necessary. Did I think I was planting too slowly? No, not really. What you think that's a little not needed, but whatever, or.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice to have. You'll be able to plant your whole farm in 4 clicks instead of 16. So, it'll make you able to get in and out of there that much faster.
Sure.
And with some of the reputation impact that we'll talk about here in a couple minutes, you'll see where the value of that comes in, I think.
Absolutely. That takes us into the RNG changes. For those of you who aren't familiar with what RNG is, it's the random number generator that it makes up a huge part of World of Warcraft, where it's your random chance of this happening or this not happening. You see RNG with encounters in raids. You see RNG with just quest drops, with everything, and this is playing a piece of that. RNG changes. Wild crops will spawn less often. So again, another, I would almost call that a quality of life issue, as well.
Yeah, they're just as annoying as vermin.
Yeah, precisely. And special crops will have a higher chance to proc that make them competitive with farming out in the world. So you can plant, and I forget the name of the plant, but you can get a golden lotus, basically.
Yeah, out of the Enigma seeds.
That's what it is. Yeah. And so basically those Enigma seeds, when you plant them, you have a chance to get a golden lotus. It looks to me like they're going to have a higher chance of proccing that golden lotus just to keep up, so that way you're actually growing them. You're farming them, as opposed to trying to go out in the world, rolling the dice and hoping that, that you're going to run across a golden lotus laying there in the field somewhere,
Yeah, and I think that'll be great. I mean, I did Enigma seeds for a little while to get golden lotus for my alchemist, and usually you'd fly into your farm and you'd see 4 or 3 or 4, and that was pretty good. One time I flew and I had like 7, and I was like,
wow.
I just about I'm about fell off my unicorn. But so I think where this will help with guilds is if they, you've got your alchemists that are pulling together flasks and stuff for raids. That'll help them make those potions and everything's just that much easier.
Sure.
Instead of having to go out and farm your herbalism around.
Right, right. And you know what? The one thing that I mean, I don't know. I'm anxious to see how all of it's going to happen. Like for right now, you can plant your motes of harmony, and you'll end up getting your spirits of harmony and trade those into the vendor. I think between growing that and the increased proc rates of all this stuff when it comes to making flasks and being prepped for your raid team and having the supplies needed, they're making those supplies much more accessible, which is great. I would rather see them do it this way as opposed to just saying, here's a vendor, for 50 Valor points, you can get yourself whatever. You know what I mean? And I know they have that to a point with the Spirits of Harmony. You can get Golden Lotus that way, whatever. But I'm just glad to see him go this route to get things in my pocket as opposed to just finding some cheap way to put a Band-Aid over it.
Yeah, well, and I think that let me get into the next point, and then we can talk about kind of where I see it going. So here's the next part. And here's the part I'm really excited about: reputation impact. So once you own the farm, you'll start getting work orders from the various factions. So we don't have any specific details on the rep gains. We don't know if it's going to be a straight rep game or if it's going to gain or if it's going to be a buff that increases your gain with that faction for a set time, kind of like the 8th anniversary thing did. But I think that this is going to be really good, especially I think this expansion has been very focused, and I've heard this on other podcasts where they say Blizzard really didn't want you playing a lot of alts in this. I just finished my Golden Lotus Exalted tonight. That was the last Pandaria one outside of Black Prince and Nat Pagle. But I got Exalted with all of the Pandaria factions on my main.
Dude. Grats. That's huge.
It is. And it's like I'm exhausted. My hands hurt. I'm done. I don't want to look at dailies now for a little while, but
kind of dehydrated, a little hungry.
Yeah. A little woozy. I feel, but what now, as I go through and level alts, I've got those commendations. So my alts will gain rep faster. So it won't be such a grind for my next tune that goes through this. And if I start getting reputation impact, I'll be able to, once again, grow those a little bit faster. And that'll be where you have your other alts. Like I have a leather worker, and his focus right now is mostly making leg armors and things like that. But now I can have my alchemist, farming their own Golden Lotus to make things without having to go to the, it's just because I'm going to have multiple farms. And I think that's where it's going to help us with this reputation impact.
Right.
Is you're going to have multiple farms. You'll be able to work for the factions and gain your rep other than doing the dailies, which I don't mind the daily. Well, okay. Well, honestly, right now I mind the dailies.
Right.
I'm done with them. I'm like, I don't want to do another daily.
Right.
But my next tune will be a lot quicker going through that. So I think that this work order thing will be fun. And I honestly think that this moves us one step closer to player housing, which I think Blizzard will get there over time. I think they will lead this in very slowly, but we're already seeing it. We have our own instance section.
Right.
We get our best friends and they fix up our place for us and they give us a dog and a goat and all that stuff. Pretty soon we'll be able to, when we talk about pantries and cooking areas and workshops, and I think it's coming. And I'm excited about that because I want a place to put all my stuff.
I agree. And you know what? There's also things that are coming out in 5.2 that are like portals. That portals will take you to major faction cities, and it almost sounds to me like your farm is going to be basically like your own little inn. Like it almost is a player housing, to be honest with you, because you'll be able to get rested XP there. You'll be able to zone out there, teleport to other major cities and stuff like that. They are doing a lot of things with this farm that are going to be off the charts. So, I mean, I think you're right. I hate to admit it. I think you're heading down that right path, though. So, that's going to do it for the Twizzcast minicast. Hippy, how can people get a hold of you, man?
You can reach me on Twitter is the easiest way, at Hippy_TE for Twisted Empire. My email for now is still hippyelf1@gmail.com.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, as always, I am Twiz. You can follow me at Twizzcast. You can follow the show at Twizzcast. You can get our actual audio podcast from Twizzcast.com with Twig and Reb, and you can follow me on Twitter at TwizzleTank. So, much appreciated. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2, and we'll be back next week with another mini episode to tantalize you with. So, thanks for listening. Take care.